This is NFR 445 Live, sponsored by Silverton Casino Hotel. Join them nightly for Wrangler NFR viewing and after parties at Silverton Casino Hotel.
Hello, howdy, and a happy Sunday to you. I'm Amber Dixon, joining you live from the Thomas Mack Center for Day 4 of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. And my guest this evening is Wenda Johnson. Quite the inspiration. What a story you have. Ranked 13th in the world in barrel racing. And not only this year did you qualify for your second NFR, but you also graduated with a doctorate in nursing practice. How in the world did you pull both of those off?
Well, my life is definitely, I have a mantra of things that I do, and I feel like just with balance and practice and patience, you can accomplish anything. And, I part-time barrel race, I work part-time, I'm a mother of 2 daughters, I help my husband, I'm, active in my church and, in the community, and so I wear many hats, but I do the best I can, and I have fun more than anything, and excited to be here.
Can you paint a picture for us of what your routine was like, and how did COVID impact that all, especially being in the medical field?
COVID was an interesting thing for so many people. I think it really changed the dynamic for a lot of people in the workplace, for their home setting. I started homeschooling my girls at that point. So it did definitely had an impact in that way. In the rodeo world, it was interesting to see how it impacted it. We still did rodeo and did well. I don't rodeo a lot. I don't go full time. I'm very selective on the rodeos I compete at. So COVID didn't really hurt that side of things, but we were still grateful to get to go and compete and have the opportunity to be out and about when COVID just really touched so many people and their lives.
And was that part of the strategy to be selective with which rodeos you went to in order to qualify while still studying?
Absolutely. In general, my friends own these horses. It's kind of a really unique situation. And I had told them they've always wanted them to be rodeo horses. And that's not my main drive necessarily. I do love horses and I love being around them. And if we can be successful, that's great. But this isn't what necessarily drives me. I want them to enjoy their job just as much as I enjoy riding. And so that's kind of how it started. I had told my friends, hey, if we can do this on a minimal rodeo count and not go everywhere, then yes, I'll do it, or I'll commit to it, because I am so busy. I have so many other things, many irons in the fire, that I really can't go travel full time. And so that's kind of how it started. We hit a couple, did really well at some open rodeos that weren't limited, because really this is only my 3rd year. In 19, I went to 7 rodeos, maybe is all. These horses were Futurity and Derby horses. So right out of the Futurity Derby year, then we went ahead and went to a couple rodeos. And then 2020, I happened to go to 2 rodeos, San Angelo and San Antonio, and did really well. And then COVID hit. So when things opened back up in June, I was sitting in the top 15, and we're like, maybe we should go a little bit and see if we can make the finals.
It speaks a lot for what you've been able to accomplish in that amount of time, getting to the Super Bowl of rodeo 2 years in a row. Talking about what's going on at this rodeo, first round may not have gone how you wanted to, but rounds 2 and 3, you got a 13-7-7 back-to-back nights. How were you able to turn it around?
So every single horse here is amazing. These are great high-level horses and very consistent horses, mine included. Mac, I rarely hit barrels on him. That's horse racing. Sometimes it just happens. We are going fast, and as I came by the first, kind of caught the first, and the second one, shouldn't have probably hit that one. I could have probably corrected that, but that's kind of how it goes. And you know what? Move on to the next one. There's some great horses that never hit that are already catching barrels, and so Valor never hits, and he caught 2 barrels the first night. J-Lo never hits, and she caught 2 barrels, night before last. So it's just this pin is a little tight. That could be part of it. But it's horse racing, and you know what? You move on to the next one and go from there.
Well, and let's give some credit to your horses. You talked about Mac and the other one, and their ages and how experienced they both are.
Sure. So I developed Mac. He's 8 now. And, I've taken my time and really spent that time with him, and I want him to love his job, and I feel like he does. He comes in so laser focused, happy and quiet, and goes in, and he looks so flawless. He looks like he's not even running hard, but he definitely clocks. He's a horse I can depend on and count on, and he's amazing. Then I also have a young horse, Mo, who's only a 5-year-old. Technically he's only been competing for a year. This is at kind of the year mark. He ran as a 5-year-old in the futurity, so he only ran a couple months of the futurities and then kind of loaded it up and used him this summer, and we hit some rodeos on him and he did well. So both of them are great. People always say, who's your backup horse? Neither of them. They are very dependable, very athletic, special horses. So I'm grateful to have 2 high quality, high level horses that I can compete on.
And Mo got his first run last night, right?
Correct.
Okay, and how are you proud of his performance and your performance, I imagine?
Absolutely. Mo's never been into a setting like this before. And it's not necessarily the arena, the crowd, I'm not worried about that. It's everything that people don't see. It's everything behind the scenes. It's the small warm-up pins. It's the flag girls. It's the wagons that are coming by them. For a young horse, they have to be mentally strong and mentally tough to be able to handle the situation. We're in a very, very tight, narrow alley. You have the other horses running by them. Both of these horses are race horses. So to teach a racehorse to be comfortable with another horse running by them usually does take a little time. And fortunately, they're both level-headed and they're just doing great. So,
well, they are lucky to have you atop them. The last thing, I understand that you had wanted to get a permit all the way back in 2004 to compete in the rodeo. Took you till 2018 because you had a lot of schooling to do. But what kept you in this? I mean, were there times when you thought maybe you should give one or the other up?
So I had high school rodeoed and college rodeoed. So I went to a couple rodeos my college years, and I just knew what it was going to take. I knew you needed the horsepower. I knew you needed probably more than one horse, and then the financial backing. So I went to a few, kind of felt it out. It's a whole different world compared to the barrel racing world. I'm a very friendly, talkative person, and in the rodeo world, everybody is focused and they're doing their jobs. So I enjoy. So then I went to a few and kind of was like, man, right now it's not the time. I probably actually wouldn't have came and rodeoed if it wasn't for my friends that own these horses. They were the ones that were like, we want these horses at the rodeos, and I'm like, okay, we can do that. I was like, but I'm going to do it within reason, just because my schedule is quite busy.
Wenda Johnson, you are the picture of persistence and passion. We wish you the best of luck in the remaining 7 rounds. Thank you for your time and for continued coverage of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Go to lvrj.com/NFR.
You've been watching NFR 445 Live, sponsored by Silverton Casino Hotel. Join them nightly for Wrangler NFR viewing and after parties at Silverton Casino Hotel.